What's going on, YouTube family? This your man Pristine, back with another video. Welcome to the full Pristine review for the Microsoft Surface Duo. Now, not sure when you guys are going to see this video, but as of today, Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020, your man Pristine is celebrating his 42nd birthday. And it's a pleasure for me to be here with you all to share this content. I'm definitely happy to see another year, especially considering everything that's been going on in the world. A lot of people weren't so fortunate to see this age. And so I just want to give all praise and glory to the man above for blessing me with his love, his grace, and his mercy to still be here and to continue to do the things that I enjoy doing. It's all because of him. I take credit for nothing. All right. So that said, man, let's get into this thing now. The Microsoft Surface Duo. It's a rather interesting device. It's a device that I was very much so looking forward to. And now that I've had the device since launch day, it's been, about 2.5 weeks or so. I've been using this thing pretty extensively to really put it through its paces and really learn this device. There's obviously some things that I like and that I don't like. And it's hard for me to stand completely behind this device and rock with it because the device, it's a very unique device and it has so many different things that it can do, but yet there's things that need to be addressed. And the fact that we have no idea when or if these things are going to get addressed, we would like to assume that they are because, again, this is a Microsoft product and we feel like Microsoft, hey, they're not going to leave us, high and dry on a device that needs some work. But the price point of this device is really what makes this thing just kind of tough for me as to whether or not I want to continue to even hang on to this device or not. Let's just this device is $1,500, y'all. You know what I mean? It's $1,399, plus the taxes or whatever. I paid, $1,542.86. That's a lot of money. You know what I mean? To not get top everything. So, just let's just go through it real quick. Now, first off, again, the price, $1,500. I mean, we've got last year's specifications. We got the 2019 specs. We got the Snapdragon 855 processor. We got 6 gigs of RAM. What is it? I believe we've got 128 gigs of storage that is non-expandable. We've got a single 11 megapixel camera that acts as your selfie camera and the main primary camera. We've got a 3,577 milliamp hour battery. We've got Android on board. I mean, so, that was pretty big, for Microsoft to team up with Android on this. That's a big deal. And so, we get kind of the best of both worlds with Microsoft and Android here. And, you get, just a few functions, little features and functions, that come along with the device, once you learn everything and really get in the flow of using this device. So, specifications. Considering the fact that this phone was released in 2020, I was hoping that they were going to upscale the internals at least to 2020 specifications, like the Snapdragon 865. But for whatever reason, Microsoft didn't feel the need to do that. Now, the build quality on this device, I got to say, the build quality on this device is pretty much second to none. I mean, the hardware is easily one of the best things about this device. There's no other foldable that's built like this device. We've got Corning Gorilla Glass 5 on the front and the back. And look at this thing. I mean, the thinness of this thing, the hinge, and just how effortless it is to open this thing and move it around into the different angles in which you can hold it in, or if you just want to fold it and just have it as a just as a single screen device, you can definitely do that, right? I mean, the hardware on this phone, in my mind, is completely and utterly unmatched, right? It is that's just what it is. The hardware on this phone is just, it's ridiculous, right? I mean, so, build quality, not a problem at all not whatsoever. definitely a thumbs up when it comes to the build quality for the Surface Duo. Now, when you talk about performance, now here's where things get a bit shaky. All right, because this device can be extremely sometimey when you're talking about the performance. And like I mentioned, we've got the Snapdragon 855, 6 gigs of RAM. And, I think the 6 gigs of RAM could very well be where this phone is having the most of its struggles, because certain things that should just be seamless and fluid, a lot of times they're not. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. And I think, when you've got a device that has two totally different screens that is capable of doing different things at once, the RAM management really plays a factor, because a lot of that is going to help you dictate and determine what you can do and how fast you can do certain things, how fluid things are going to be. And so I feel like a device of this caliber, with the potential that it has, and definitely the price that you're paying for this thing, I mean, this thing should have had anywhere from, in my personal opinion, anywhere from 8 to 12 gigs of RAM. But 6 gigs of RAM, I mean, I feel like that could be a hindrance. And I say that because a lot of times when you're trying to perform and multitask, things are extremely choppy and they're not as fluid as they ought to be. And it's already one thing that this phone, they don't offer the high refresh rates, whether it be 90 or 120 hertz. So everything's running at 60 hertz. And I don't have a problem with that. And me, as meticulous as I am, I can definitely tell the difference between a device that is either 90 or 60, 90, or 120 hertz when it comes to the refresh rate. But here we got 60. And on top of that, the software can just be extremely choppy and buggy a lot of times. And that really, really takes away from the user experience. I mean, I understand the idea, right? Like I think the idea is spot on. It's a get ish done type of device. Like I said, you got Microsoft and Android, combined collectively. When you power on this device, it asks you to log into your Microsoft account and then log into your Google account, and it just combines the best of both worlds. My keyboard right here, this is my HP desktop. This is a Windows 10 desktop, and it's dope because once I logged into my Microsoft account, put in my Microsoft username and password, pretty much everything that's on my computer, all my files, documents, everything that's backed up in the OneDrive, all that stuff, boom, here on the device. Now, I understand that this is a Microsoft specific device featuring Android, right? But the interesting thing to me is, for one, you got devices out here like the Pixel 4a, which I love this little phone, and I never thought that I was going to like that phone as much as I did. I was actually kind of trashing it before it came out until I got my hands on it, and I was like, whoa, like Google is really onto something here. Now I really love that phone. I mean, this phone costs $350. This phone costs $1,500. You know what I mean? Even my Galaxy Fold here, the first generation, right? I know that the second generation is out, and I'm going to be getting that soon. Wasn't really in the rush to get it. You know what I'm saying? It'll be there when I go get it. But I mean, as far as the multitasking, I mean, you can multitask on this device. You know what I mean? It may not be, with the two separate screens that are specifically geared towards doing something different. But I mean, you could do, the point is you could do that stuff on other devices, and granted, that device is a little bit more expensive, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like this device was released prematurely. And I understand that it's a Microsoft specific device to give you all of the Microsoft features and functionality in a device that you can just close and just walk around mobilely, right? The main selling point, I guess, is mobility, and basically just having like a little surface in your pocket, right? Like, how dope is that? But then when you release this thing at a $1,500 price tag with last year's specifications, extremely buggy software, and us not really knowing when there's going to be updates that's going to be pushed to help along with that, I mean, Microsoft, this is a tall task to ask people to just sit back and just deal with this stuff until you decide to roll out updates. Right? You're asking people for $1,500 for a device that just seems like it's very unpolished and just doesn't really seem complete. Right? I mean, so, now don't get me wrong. I mean, you can definitely do, like if I want to go to Spotify on this screen, and then if I want to do some shopping at Best Buy on this screen, like I can do that, right? It really does give you the ability to multitask and do and truly do completely different things all at the same time. When it's working, it is flawless. But when it's buggy, when it's choppy, when it's lagging, sometimes apps crash, and you got to constantly go out of the app, reload the app. Sometimes it gets so buggy to where you have to just completely do a restart, just to reboot the device. That stuff can get extremely annoying at times. You know what I mean? So it just seems like maybe Microsoft should have taken a little bit more time to really polish this thing before they put it out. Again, just a couple of days ago, Microsoft, to compete with Sony in the gaming department, and I understand, these are two totally different divisions. This is the mobile division, obviously, but then you got the gaming division. Microsoft just spent $7.5 billion to buy out and acquire Bethesda Studios and all of the other little studios that are, beneath its umbrella, to compete with to compete with Sony with the PlayStation, or to help bolster its Microsoft Game Pass catalog. $7.5 billion. Microsoft is $1 trillion company, ladies and gentlemen. So why is it that $1 trillion company that has access to the assets that it has can put out a device like this? Again, I get the idea, but then suffer from a lot of the bugs that this thing is suffering from at a $1,500 price tag. In my mind, $1 billion company or a $1 trillion company that's spending $7.5 billion to buy a gaming studio that puts out a device, you would think that device would be completely and utterly flawless, or pretty much close to it. To me, the way this thing performs at times, there's no excuse, Microsoft. So I can't give Microsoft a pass because I didn't get this phone at a discounted price. I bought this phone with my own money. I spent $1,500 on this device. You know what I mean? And so I know that, when I did my unboxing, I was just like, you know what? I saw some reviews and people were completely and utterly trashing this device. And I brought up the Essential phone. And I was like, hey, they were saying the same thing about the Essential phone. And the Essential phone, I got a bunch of updates and it became better. And that was a lot of people's experience. But see, for me, right when I took my Essential phone out of the box, I had no problems. I had zero problems. People were talking about the camera was trash and this and that. I thought the camera was spot on, fresh out of the box. And then, again, this is Andy Rubin, founder of Android. He knows some people, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times it ain't what you know, it's who you know. And so he made sure that device was getting timely updates. And just over time, and not that much time, the device just got better and better just because a lot of the updates that got pushed to the device. But that phone was nowhere near as expensive as the Duo is. So like I said, to sit there and just ask people to just be patient. Updates are coming. Yeah, you spent your $1,500, man. When you're spending that kind of money, man, you want a device that's going to perform every time exactly the way that you need it to. We don't need a bunch of bugs. We don't need a bunch of glitches. We don't need to be dealing with software that just seems extremely unpolished, sitting around waiting for an update to come when you got our $1,500. I'm strongly considering, taking this phone back and getting my money back. Like my man Jay Will, catch and release. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm blessed. I'm comfortable financially, but still, that don't mean that I got $1,500 to just toss aside and just wait on a wing and a prayer for an update to come. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, if I don't return this device within the 14 days, then I'm stuck. You know what I'm saying? And so if this phone was $800, okay, maybe I'd be willing to sit on it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'd be a little bit more at ease, but $1,500 with the TLC that this phone needs, man, come on, Microsoft. I'm not trying to crap all over the phone, man, because, like I said, I get the idea, and, it can do some amazing things. What I just showed, having the ability to completely do like two totally different things at the same time. But then you also got to ask, who's using this phone? If you're just the average consumer and you're just looking for a phone to, text, social media, yeah, I mean, this is good for that because you can do a couple of different things at the same time. But there's other devices where you can multitask as well, and it ain't gonna cost you $1,500, and it's gonna offer you a better overall experience because you're not gonna be dealing with a lot of the glitchiness, the bugginess, the choppiness, none of that stuff. So, the performance for me is really, really what the kicker is with this device, man. I mean, if Microsoft was like, hey, we assure you that updates are coming for this device, and I know that they will, because I'm pretty sure that they hear these gripes, but it's just like when you spend $1,500, you don't want to be waiting around forever for an update. You know what I'm saying? I want to enjoy this device to its fullest capacity. And one of the main things that's hindering me from enjoying the device is how buggy and choppy it is, period. You know what I mean? Now, let's get to the cameras. Now, the camera, again, it's a single 11 megapixel camera. It sits right here. It's got a little flash right there. When you want to take a selfie, when you launch the camera app, when you turn the camera towards you, the phone is supposed to automatically recognize that, and then it puts it in selfie mode. And then when you turn the phone away from you, the phone is also supposed to recognize that, and it put it in the viewfinder. Now, again, this too can be extremely buggy at times. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to, I've seen, a couple videos where it's like, okay, you got to flip the phone fast. You know what I'm saying? Because if you do it slow, then the phone doesn't recognize. So again, now I just launched it and the camera's facing me. So of course it launches in selfie mode. Now, if I just, let's see, I turn the phone around fast. Okay. Now that worked, right? So I turned it around quickly and it got into the viewfinder mode in order for me to take a photo. Okay. Now let me turn it back around slow. Now see? The phone is supposed to be able to recognize when it's been turned. It's supposed to recognize or basically be able to pre-predict the movement of the user to make sure that whatever it is that user's trying to do at that moment, that the phone responds. So it's like if I was trying to take a selfie or whatever, you know what I'm saying? If I was in a rush and I was just trying to capture something, maybe I was trying to get a particular backdrop or something like that. I mean, and I'm looking at it in the reflection of my computer screen. The phone is still, it's in main camera mode, but not in selfie mode. You see what I'm saying? I mean, so, again, now, so, okay. So if I turn it a little quicker, then here we go. Okay. Now I just turned it quick again. Where's the viewfinder? You see what I'm saying? Like it's little stuff like that. Like the phone isn't as responsive as it ought to be. It's like Microsoft. You're a $1 trillion company. You're charging $1,500 for this thing. You know what I'm saying? These are little things that should have been ironed out off top. And yeah, when I took this thing out of the box, when I did the unboxing, yeah, the phone got an update. And some people were talking about their software was pretty much unusable before that update came out. And the update just basically helped the user experience a tad bit. But people are still dealing with these types of things. And so, I understand, Microsoft was concerned about the overall thinness of the device and wanting to make sure that it was extremely comfortable. And again, like I said, I mean, this hardware is unparalleled. This hardware is unprecedented. But there's compromises with making this thing as beautiful as it is. You know what I mean? There's compromises. Now, with the camera, look, I'm gonna pause the video. I'm gonna just go ahead and roll this footage real quick because I didn't bother doing a dedicated camera review. You know what I mean? I'm gonna just roll some of the still shot images and some of the quick snippets of video that I took, and then I'll be right back with you. All right. All right, y'all. So look, this is the 11 megapixel camera that is on the Microsoft Surface Duo. And again, we've only got one camera, and I know I want to keep saying like the camera system. We've got one camera on this bad boy. It's an 11 megapixel sensor, and it acts as the selfie camera and the primary shooter. And again, the camera is just it's really it just needs some work. It needs some work. I mean, I'm taking some photos with this camera, and it just was not pretty. And yeah, this phone definitely needs some work. And like I said, at this price point, you would expect for things to be a bit better than what it is. And so I'm actually very disappointed in Microsoft with this one. And don't get me wrong, there's some things that I love about this device. I mean, again, I love the hardware. I love the form factor, right? Like the phone, it's a little bit wider. Texting, whether you're emailing or just shooting text messages, I like the fact that, depending on, what side you're operating on, if you're texting on the left screen, then, the screen is kind of veered more towards the left. Or if you're texting on the right screen, then it veers more towards the right. Or if you just got the phone closed and you're just using it as a single-handed device, you know what I mean? Just the text layout, it's the phone just being as thin and wide as it is. It's a very comfortable hold, when you're texting, you know what I mean? And I can text very fast and pretty efficiently as well. I mean, so, I like that. I like the form factor of the device, but I mean, again, just the bugginess, what I'm saying, with the software, just the underperformance of the cameras. I mean, it's just not really a good situation, man. So again, okay, yeah, I don't know what happened there, but I just turned around and the camera just went off. So just like little stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? I'm moving around. Yeah, man, you guys let me know what you think, man. I'm gonna turn it around and get some footage while it's in viewfinder mode as a primary camera, and then back to the video. All right, y'all. So this is when you've got the camera flipped around, and I'm recording videos. You know what I'm saying? So here's my whole setup. You know what I mean? Just my desk with a bunch of devices. Got my Note 20 Ultra right there, my Pixel 4a right here, my Galaxy Fold. I'm getting ready to go trade that for the Fold 2. Got my iPad Pro right there. Shout out to my man Mike Myers. Now, I believe that this phone has optical image stabilization. So you guys let me know what you guys think. That's Isaiah in there acting like he's doing schoolwork, thinking he playing somebody. I'm going to crush his head in because he ain't focused.
I'm watching a video.
Okay. But yeah, you guys just let me know, what if optical image stabilization is working the way that it should. I made sure that I turned on all the lights, in the house, just because, like I said, I mean, outside of ideal lighting conditions, this camera is not, it's just not cool, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so, yeah, man, this is what it is. I would take it outside, but it's pouring down raining, I mean, summer's over, y'all, and I'm in Seattle. So here we go with the typical Seattle weather, and it's wet out there in the gazebo, water's coming down, so I don't want to damage the phone. But yeah, man, here, this is the rear camera on the on the Microsoft Surface Duo. And yeah, man, let me know what you guys think about what you're seeing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's get back to the video. All right, man. So you guys sound off in the comments what you think about the camera performance on this device. To me, it underachieves. It can, in decent lighting conditions or in good lighting conditions, it can take some good photos. Aside from that, the camera suffers. And I've watched videos with what's dude's name, Panos or whatever his name is. You know what I'm saying? I watched a couple videos of him explaining what this device is all about. And when he talked about the camera, he too admitted, like, yo, yeah, this phone, it's not going to be the camera champion. It's not going to offer what a lot of other mobile phones that are cheaper than it offers, say, like, the Pixel 4a here. And the 4a just crushes this camera. It's not even close. And the 4a costs $350. You see what I'm saying? But I know Panos, he was talking about, the phone, it's not geared toward the camera. And, he's got a good camera. It's got a good camera, but it's just more so for like video chat and stuff like that. But again, when you're paying $1,500, come on, Microsoft. In this technological age, Microsoft, do you know that people are making big deals about phones on cameras or cameras on phones nowadays? It's everybody's main source of image capturing. There ain't too many people walking around, with these DSLRs, and these professional cameras to capture footage. Cameras on phones have gotten so good, and these phones are so mobile and portable to where the norm now is just walking around with a phone that has a good camera on it. Now, is the camera on the Duo the worst camera? No, I really like how my man Jay Will put it. This camera, it's not the worst camera, but it is the worst camera on a phone that costs $1,500. Does that make sense? It's not the worst camera ever, but it's the worst camera on the device that costs this much. And to me, that is inexcusable. Why? Because Microsoft is $1 trillion company. They used to make phones before. I mean, it's only been, 4 or 5 years since they stopped making phones. And a lot of their Nokia devices that they had back in the day that were Windows phones, some of those phones had excellent cameras. So it's like, man, I mean, did you just forget the formula, Microsoft, when it comes to mobile devices? I mean, things have come, mobile devices have come a long way within the past 4 or 5 years since the last time you made a device. You have to know that cameras are a big deal in 2020. You can't release something like this in 2020 and charge $1,500 for it and expect for people to not have something to say. You know what I mean? Or just expect for people to just sit around waiting for updates. Not after they spent they hard-earned $1,500, Microsoft. Come on, man. You guys are a $1 trillion company, and you didn't become a $1 trillion company off of being an idiot. So you know this. So the fact that you just didn't implement better hardware in this, or better hardware in this device to ensure that image quality was a go on this phone the way that it should be for a $1,500 device. I mean, to me, that's inexcusable, man. It is inexcusable. And like I said, I mean, the phone, in good lighting conditions, you can take some impressive photos. You know what I mean? But it's like outside of that, I've taken some photos with this phone and I was just like, man, and I'm extremely fair. I'm the one to give phones the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? But there's some photos that I took with this phone and I was like, that is just absolute trash. I was like, this is garbage. What is, like, I erased them. That's why I didn't bother taking a bunch of pictures with this camera, because I was like, yo, I mean, it underperforms seemingly more so than it performs. And it's like every time you take a photo, it's not always going to be in the most ideal lighting conditions. And so it just seems as though the best way that you can get the best picture quality possible is that it has to be in a well-lit environment. Outside of that, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be able to see the picture and you'll be able to make out everything in the picture, but the overall quality, the sharpness, the attention to detail is not going to be up to par with phones in 2020. Even phones that cost a fraction of the cost of what it cost. It's inexcusable. You know what I mean? Now, another bright spot with this device is the battery. The battery, a 3577 milliamp hour battery. I mean, why they came up with that number, I don't know. Who cares? I just know the battery life is a beast. Okay? I would have thought that with two AMOLED displays. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are two 1800 by 1350 pixel displays. Okay, I'm like, when you got a battery that's pushing these two displays like that, I would have thought that the battery life would have been complete trash. But to my surprise, the battery life is awesome on this device. I can very easily get through a full day and some. It just depends on what you're doing. I can pull down almost 2 days on this device. You know what I mean? And like I told you guys before in several of my other videos, I'm a very light to moderate user. So battery life is going to solely depend on how you use your phone. If you're always on your phone, streaming music, streaming videos, streaming movies, you know what I mean? On social media, just always on it nonstop, then of course you're going to kill the battery off much sooner. But I mean, if you're just more of a light to moderate user, oh man, you're going to get killer battery life on this device with absolutely no problems at all whatsoever. It's not one of those devices that you're going to have to plug in every night to be ready at 100% when you get up in the morning. You don't have to do that. Not for me, at least. But like I said, that's going to be solely dependent on how you use your device. So, I mean, battery life is a bright spot for this phone. I mean, additional features, I love the idea of the Microsoft and the Android, coming together. And I understand in order to pull this off, Microsoft had to do that because one of the main reasons why they went under was because of their app store and their lack of applications and the inability to be able to get apps that you can get on the Play Store with Android or the App Store with Apple iOS. You couldn't do it, and it just couldn't compete. People were sick of not being able to get the apps that they know and love on other platforms. And it was one of the main reasons why Microsoft's mobile division went under and tanked. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see that they teamed up with Google on that was a genius idea because you get the best of both worlds. You get the best of Android and then you get the best of Microsoft all in one package, a beautiful package, but they got to get this software in check, right? They got to get this software in check. I mean, so, I don't know, man. I mean, I really like this device and I want to like it more than I actually do, but I just can't force myself to push past what the reality is. And the reality is I really feel like Microsoft, they put this phone out and it wasn't completed. Okay. Now I understand that folding devices, they're making a splash. We're already on second gen folding devices with certain OEMs. I'm really looking forward to that new Moto Razr. I didn't get the first one because I too wasn't spending $1,500 for a mid-range device and that phone had problems. You know what I'm saying? It had problems, not problems. That phone had problems. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't paying for them problems at $1,500. But now we got the other one coming out. It's 5G compatible. They changed up the internals a little bit. Still more of a mid-range device than it is a flagship. But it's like, they enhanced the camera. It's just a whole nostalgic feel of the Razr. It's like that should have been the one that they released all along in the first place. You know what I mean? That one, I'm excited about that one. I may invest in that one. We're already on the second generation of the Fold. Actually, I'm going to be going to trade in my Fold here for the Fold 2. And, even though, the Fold is $2,000, if you compare, these are the two first gens. The Galaxy Fold is killing this Microsoft, man. It's killing it. It's killing it in the camera department. It's got the dual speakers. I mean, I feel like the only thing that the Fold can't touch this Surface Duo on is the hardware. The hardware is unprecedented on this thing. I mean, just the ability to this thing is insane how thin it is. and just, the different modes that you can put it in. I mean, again, having the ability to multitask. You see the fingerprint sensor is spot on. It works 100% every time. It's not the fastest. It's not like OnePlus fast or anything like that, but it works. You know what I mean? It works. But I mean, this phone, it needs some work, and $1,500, I can't just sit around and just, twiddle my thumbs wondering when Microsoft is going to decide to push an update to make those things better. I hope that they do it sooner than later. And, of course, I'm always dialed in and locked in with these devices. I mean, so if it gets a little better down the road, then, maybe I'll pick it up again and do a follow up. But I mean, like I said, I ain't getting no review unit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't made it that big yet to where companies are sending review units to me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting no major discount. I paid $1,500 for this phone. And so I'm going to tell you my personal opinion. If you want something a little different, it's definitely going to turn heads, and it's definitely different. But just know, if you decide to invest in this product, you're going to be frustrated because it's extremely laggy and buggy, and certain things just don't work as consistently as they should. And it's going to take updates, plural, not singular, not an update. It's going to take updates to get this phone where it needs to be so that it can perform the way that it should perform. And I'm just not willing to sit around and wait around after I spent my $1,500 for that to happen. So personally, I agree with the media on this one. I think you should just sit this one out. Personally, I think that Microsoft will definitely learn from this one. Of course, they had to put the fillers out there. They had to see how everybody was going to respond to this. I think when they release the second version of it, it should be ready to go. And the mistakes that Microsoft made with this product, we would hope that, they would clean up, just similar to what Samsung did with the Fold here. Everything that was wrong with this device right here on the Fold 2, Samsung completely cleaned up and turned around. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like they listen. So we'll see what Microsoft does with the second iteration of the Duo. But I mean, yeah, this one, ladies and gentlemen, sit this one out. This phone is not worth $1,500, man. If you can get it at a discount, man, great. Like I said, if this phone was $700, maybe $800, I'd feel much more comfortable with hanging on to it and waiting for some updates to come around. But I mean, $1,500, nah, no dice. That's it. So if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to expose yourself to tons of more videos that I've done like this one. Be sure to hit that notifications bell so that every time my videos go live, you'll get notified and you can be one of the first ones to check it out. Be sure to check out my catalog because I've got tons of videos that I've done like this one. A lot of good options out there. And like I said, keep it locked because I've got so much more content to come. Much love to all of my subscribers. Again, thanks for tuning in and letting me bend your ear about my personal thoughts and feelings about the Microsoft Surface Duo. Again, the comment section is where I'll be chilling at. So hit me with any questions, comments, or feedback of any kind, and I'll be sure to get back in contact with you as soon as I can. All right, so you already know. Please stay safe, get spiritually fit, and keep it pristine in every aspect of your lives. Catch y'all in the next one. This is the Microsoft Surface Duo. I'm your man Pristine, bringing the content. I'm about to box this joint up and get my $1,500 back right now. Catch and release, J. Will style. I'm out. Peace.